it's a horrible tragedy. What I want to do first today is just read out the names and the ages of those who were killed and ask you to pray. The victims who have been identified: Haley Scruggs, 9 years old; Evelyn Deekhouse, also 9 years old; William Kinney, 9 years old; Catherine Kuntz, who was 60, who was the headmaster at the school; Cynthia Peak, 61, who was a substitute teacher; Mike Hill, 61, a custodian at the school, someone taking care of that school for the kids, keeping it clean, keeping the building in shape, has lost his life. Those people did not return home. Those kids did not go home last night.
People are ready to have this discussion. They're ready to talk about where faith can kind of come back into society, and that it has to. Let's hear from the TBI director, David Roush.
We believe in prayer, and we believe in the power of prayer. And so our prayers go out to these families.
The churches were packed last night, just people quietly in prayer. Because again, some cities have been through this. Our city has not. Our community has not.
I'm convinced that prayer is the answer to so many things, including trying to help the families of 3 kids who were killed and 3 adults and all the friends in the community at that school as well. We should all understand that prayer matters and that it is He who can help heal us.
This morning, they released the body cam footage from the police. And while I would say, as horrible as it is that it even has to happen, it did give me a lot of peace knowing that our law enforcement here locally handled this so quickly.
They got there
As soon as they were there, there was no waiting. There was none of the stuff we've heard about. They went in and they killed the shooter. I mean, within minutes, if that. So I do have to say that at least, I don't want to say it gave me any peace, but it did feel like, okay, that there are people in law enforcement who are still doing great jobs, who are out there and are working in their communities, because we felt that way the last time. And look, I was kind of on
Uvalde was a mess.
Was a mess, and they just put out, they put out that footage months later, and it kind of reopened it. What I'm at least happy with Tennessee is that they said, we're putting, you decide if you want to watch it or not, but we're putting this all out within 24 hours, so we can be as transparent as possible.
It's very personal for us because this is our hometown, but this idea too. This is why people say they back the blue.
Yeah,
these moments.
Yes,
they go in immediately, know that they're going to be facing someone who is killing, with weapons, and don't even think twice.
These were young.
They were keeping
cops.
If
you
calm.
Look at them,
they knew how to handle the situation. They were calm. They handled it really professionally, and talking about a horrific scene, but they ended it.
I think one of the cops had been on the force maybe 4 years, and one like another 6 or 8 years. Not very long. That to take these drastic things. And these are the ones who by the way, fired the shots. These are the guys, the two. These were young cops.
It's absolutely heartbreaking what's transpired. And as you know, more facts are coming out every hour as this transpires. But what we do know is this: an extraordinarily sick individual committed an unthinkable act of evil. And the result of that has been absolutely tragic, with the deaths of 3 children and 3 adults. We're mourning together. We're mourning for the loss of the victims. We're mourning for their families. We're mourning for the Covenant Church community. We're mourning for the entire Nashville community and everybody that's touched by this. It's absolutely unthinkable that something like this could happen, but it did. I also want to say this. The Nashville Police Department did an exceptional job. They stepped up to the challenge within 14 minutes. They were on the scene. I've seen the footage. You perhaps have seen the footage as well from their body cameras. They walked into fire, and they were being fired upon, and they shut the situation down and prevented further damage and further malaise from taking place. And I've spoken to the police chief. I've spoken to the mayor to thank them. I'm going to have Merrick Garland in front of me shortly, the Attorney General, to make certain that every federal resource possible from the Department of Justice is being put to bear on what has transpired right there in Nashville, Tennessee at the Covenant School.
We know people have been affected by it, and we're just trying to get through a broadcast without breaking down. That was my biggest thing today, is how do I not break down? I've been breaking down all morning. I'm trying not to do that for y'all, just so that we could have these conversations started and not just move on in 2 weeks and ignore it, because we're not going to be doing that here.
We're a resilient city, but we have to keep vigilant.
We're resilient people, and we're Christians. We're resilient.